Yes, sir. Your access has now been granted. You know what time it is. Do it like this. Good to go, so where the party at? All access with Audrey Jack. Good to go, so where the party at? All access with Audrey Jack. Good to go, so where the party at? All access with Audrey Jack. Good to go, so where the party at? All access with Audrey. Yes, sir. Your access has now been granted. You know what time it is. Do it like this. Good to go, so where the party at? All access with Audrey Jack. Good to go, so where the party at? All access with Audrey Jack.
I've been living in Dutch Quarter now since 1998, and my son has, never known any other home. I consider Dutch Quarter home, even though I was raised in Cold Bay and I work in Cold Bay and I'm connected to Cold Bay. I'm still, DQ massive. And I really, I just talk from the heart. And I'm telling you here, the youth are my major concern, and anything that, has to do with young people.
For me, it is a blessing being a part of the Democratic Party as the youngest candidate on the slate, and as the youngest candidate in the entire election at 25 years old. Not to boast, but I would challenge any one of the other candidates from any of the other parties to put their record against my record and against the record of the Democratic Party of St. Martin.
So I'm sorry, old politicians that, sticking to the old ways and trying to get people to do things, against their will, or even trying to bribe them for votes and stuff. I believe that the public of St. Martin is smarter than what we give them credit for. I believe that now they're seeing young faces, all right, on all the political parties, all right, not just one. They're seeing young faces.
Yes, sir. Your access has now been granted. You know what time it is. Do it like this. Good to go, so where the party at? All access with Audrey Jack. Good to go.
You're watching All Access. I'm your host, Audrey Jack, and of course I'm here with Sylveria Jacobs. She'll be taking part in the parliamentary elections 2010. She's here on All Access because we are featuring young adults this time around.
It's always been, kind of a secret dream of mine, because I see so much that can be done with my involvement in education for 18 years and with sports in general for the youth, dance ministry with my church, taking part in the arts with Clara Reyes and Mbali. I see so much can be done that can motivate young people to be more active residents, citizens of this country. And I think I can make a contribution to that from their point of view and taking them into consideration.
When you said your leader asked you, take us back a little bit to how that approach was, and what was your response, first of all?
Well, actually 2 years ago during the island election, I did give a small speech as a single mother for one of the, public meetings, which was held in Ebenezer, Belvedere, and the response was so great. I've also done some public speaking in the church when we have our class things, and people are like, you're a natural speaker, you have a good heart, you work hard for the young people as well as, for your family. You should give it a try. And I was like, no, I'm not ready. But this year, or should I say 2009, when William Marlin, who is my former principal, my former teacher, so he's been like a mentor to me, a father to me for many, many years, since I was like maybe 10 years old. He asked me, he came to my house with Franz Richardson, and they asked me, and I was honored. Even though it was like my mentor, I was honored to be asked. The reasons they gave were, you're a strong woman, you have the intelligence, you have the heart, the soul, and you have the people of St. Martin and the young people in particular at heart. And I agree with them. So, in speaking with my family and friends, my colleagues at work, they thought it was also a very good idea and a good step for me to make an even bigger contribution to St. Martin.
Now, you also mentioned your family. I see on set, you can't see it at home, but your son is there. I know you have a beautiful daughter as well. How does your family, how exactly did they all respond to this? I know they're very supportive of you, as you said before.
Okay, well, my son is 7. Keanu's only 7, so he doesn't really get the whole idea of what it's all about. So it's now evolving, and he's like, Mommy, you're never home. So he feels the pinch in that way. My daughter, however, she's 17. She just left in August last year, July, I believe, to study, further her studies in Holland. And she was ecstatic. She's, mommy, we've always been talking when we're driving through the streets. You see all this stuff that needs changing and you would like to help, and now you've decided to finally take that step. And she wishes she was here, but of course her education comes first. My mom, who also lives with me and will be a very big support with my younger son now that I'm so busy. She was a little apprehensive at first, but knowing me and she knows how I tackle things head on, she says, you know what you can do, so I'm going to support you 100%.
Now, last night I know you took to the podium and you addressed the public of St. Martin. How was that for the first time, just standing on that stance and saying exactly what you feel as far as change goes?
There was only like 5 seconds of nerves. I had a prepared speech and I just put it aside because it was a community in which I live. I've been living in Dutch Quarter now since 1998, and my son has, never known any other home. I consider Dutch Quarter home, even though I was raised in Cold Bay and I work in Cold Bay and I'm connected to Cold Bay. I'm still, DQ massive, and I really, I just talk from the heart. And I'm telling you here, the youth are my major concern, and anything that, has to do with young people, education, their social development, family life, the arts, being exposed to as many sports as possible. That is my goal. And I think it is imperative that people like me form part of the policy making where this will become standard for St. Martin's children.
You mentioned legislations. What exactly do you know right now? What's on your agenda? You're doing something. Ms. Jacobs is there. So to speak, if that happens, what is next? We hear so many people say, we need to hear people talk more about the issues. Are you about the issues?
Right. That's correct. You see, what's the kind of the crux in this election is that it's a federal election. And the island issues are not what you usually discuss. But since we are only going to be having this federal government for a few months before we go into our island elections where we'll be electing our very first parliament, I think it is imperative that you don't wait until then if you want to get involved. You have to be involved from now. I'm not deferring my dream. My dream is to see St. Martin as a place that it considers itself a country and not somebody's child, where you consider yourself preparing your citizens completely in all aspects. And I feel that with the policymakers out there, they're already separating everything from Curacao. Not everything will be totally under our control, but still because of some service agreements we will have with certain entities, whereas it's been 10 years, but we all know the history of why we're not ready. And I don't want to go into that here. But I am saying that the National Alliance is a team that is prepared to do the work, all the work necessary to get the policies in place that we need to be able to provide for our youth, for our people. My name is Silveria Jacobs. You will see Jacobs, S on the ballot on the National Alliance slate. I'm number 8, and I'm asking you to put your confidence in me and my party as we are the ones fighting for country status for St. Martin.
For me, it is a blessing being a part of the Democratic Party as the youngest candidate on the slate and as the youngest candidate in the entire election.
With this election, we are starting our own campaign called Your Vote, Your Voice. We basically want to start voter awareness all over the island to make sure everybody knows how important a vote is and why they should vote, period. So we're starting that up right now. We're going to continue past the election date into the next island election later down in the year.
Yes, sir. Your access has now been granted. You know what time it is. Do it like this. Good to go, so where the party at? All access with Audrey Jack. Come on.